what was your favorite movie of 2019?
Well, it wasn't...
Cats?
Yeah, it wasn't Cats.
Okay. You saw, this is funny because we see most of the movies we see together.
Right.
But you saw Cats by yourself.
I had a girls' day at the mall, and yeah. It turned into crazy cat lady evening.
Yeah, so I had some vague interest in seeing Cats.
Right, until I told you about it.
Yeah, well, until the whole world told me about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard nothing but horrific responses. It's apparently a very traumatizing event. Is it?
It is. It is just as bad as everybody has said. Okay, so at first when I was watching it, I, had a very open mind because I had already heard reviews. They had already put out a botched version of it that they had to fix, and I'm not quite sure that I saw the corrected version. If I did, they need to make another one.
Well, you know what to look for, because this is true. They pushed an update to the movie to theaters after the movie had already been released.
Right.
So you're watching the first version if Judi Dench, you can see human hands of her, because it's all digital fur technology. Hashtag digital fur technology. Judi Dench she's supposed to have fur everywhere, just like everyone else, but if her hand is a human hand, that's how you know it's the first version.
So one thing that I really noticed, and it was very distracting, is that the digital fur technology didn't keep up with the action in the film. And it's not like an action film, but there's quite a bit of dancing and swinging around and leaping on things because they're cats.
Wait, so are you saying that the fur would slowly follow them behind? Like it would be like a frame behind the actor?
No, it was so slight. It was mostly facial expressions, the fur was not moving with it.
Mm-hmm.
But also, the outline of their head or their whatever was in frame would seem to have floating fur a little bit.
Oh, okay.
This movie was very hard to stay interested in, and I think a lot of people there were waiting for Taylor Swift to show up.
That's what I would have been waiting for.
And that was towards the end of the movie.
Right. So I heard this too. This is if you're a fan of Taylor Swift, this is not necessarily the movie for you because she's very heavily featured in the advertising. But you go to the movie and she's not there until the last song? The second to last?
No. There's a few songs before because, Mr. Mistopheles has his big old number.
Mm-hmm.
But she shows up right when old Deuteronomy is going to get kidnapped. She plays a role in that. She basically creates this big chaos scene where she uses catnip to distract everybody so that Deuteronomy can be stolen.
Oh.
So it is towards the end of the movie, though. It's at the arc of all the action. And I don't think this is spoiler alerts. Can I?
Yeah, you can spoil Cats.
Because it's been in production for a long time. And so I would just say that there were a lot of really corny things that really took away from the actual Cats.
Fair. Should we compare that to the new Star Wars movie? That was the other big Christmas movie. We want to talk about both of these, right?
Yes.
All the things that disappointed us in 2019. Cats, number 1. Star Wars, number 2. Were you disappointed by this?
I was not disappointed by Star Wars.
I take it all back. Best movie ever.
No, I thought it was good. I didn't have high hopes, and I didn't think that it was any worse than any other one that I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people have just kind of been unfair about it.
Yeah. Well, what are the things that people say they dislike about Star Wars, especially the new Star Wars, the Disney Star Wars movies? What's wrong with them in general?
Well, I think that a lot of, strong Star Wars fans would say it doesn't have the heart. They are using these movies to try to sell items, to try to sell little fluffy stuffed animals and action figures and
little baby Yodas.
Little baby Yeeties.
Baby Yeeties. And I actually spoiled myself on the new Star Wars movie very heavily. I read about everything that happened before we went to see it. We saw it on Christmas Day with family.
Yeah.
And I was glad that I spoiled it for myself because I would have been angry. If I was watching it and I didn't know what was going to happen, it would have upset me. Everything would have bothered me very heavily.
We saw it the day after Christmas.
Boxing Day. Okay.
Yeah, on Boxing Day. And I would say I was upset that you spoiled some of those things for me. I didn't need to know a lot of what you had told me. In fact, it would have been nice to discover it through the movie because there weren't very many things to discover in that movie.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the big thing that really upsets me, no matter how you get the information that I think is wrong with this movie.
Spoiler alert.
So yeah, heavy spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie, although at this point I think all the reviews for the movie or all the reactions to the movie are basically people saying, here's what I would have done differently. So here's me too, also saying that. Here's what I would have done differently. I would not have brought back Emperor Palpatine, and I certainly would not have made Rey Palpatine. Rey, no last name, or Rey Solo into Rey Palpatine. I think that was a huge mistake. And it really, for me, even if the rest of the movie was awesome, which I don't think it was, I would refuse to admit it. So take my review with a grain of salt. Like, it could be that I am so salty about, like, naming this character Palpatine that I refuse to give the movie the benefit of the doubt for anything else.
But what great, bad guy would they need then? Because Vader's dead.
Vader's dead.
Ben really wasn't much of a match for
Rey.
For Rey.
Really more of a romantic interest for Rey,
right.
as it turns out.
Yeah, in fact, that's how she was able to conquer him.
Oh, well, speaking of conquering him, so this is something weird. At the end of the movie, Princess Leia dies because Carrie Fisher had died in real life, so the character can't be, they've got some deleted scene footage, but the character can't be heavily featured in this movie because the actress is gone.
Or in future movies.
Right, or in future movies. So she passes away, and it's really unclear here what's happening in the movie. I read and heard about this after I saw it, that she is using her force powers at the end, as she dies, to redeem her son from halfway across the galaxy. So did you get that sense of that happening?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was actually a really sweet scene that, they did bring Harrison Ford back also. Mm-hmm. And he had a moment with his son before that. And, his son was like, you're not able to do this. You're not, a Skywalker. You're not a Jedi. How are you here? You're a memory. And even though that was the case, he, was really reaching, kind of giving that forewarning to his son, hey, your mom is going to die. You need to get your act together.
Mm-hmm. And I think, wasn't that happened after his mom died? Because they had the fight on the destroyed Death Star with him and Rey. And then mom dies and she stabs him. And then he has the vision because he throws away his lightsaber at the end of the vision.
That's right.
So I guess my question is, again, it's unclear to me. Let me know in the comments what you think. When Princess Leia dies, does she send a vision of Han Solo to her son to say, does she imagine dad telling son to shape up and ship out?
Maybe. I didn't even think about that maybe that was what it was. Right. But yeah, it definitely did happen in those moments. Mm-hmm. And I feel though he sensed her dying, I don't think that he was receiving that message from Han Solo. Mm-hmm. And, Rey also did. And she felt really bad about stabbing him right when his mom died.
Yeah, but that's when she did it. They both feel the Force, she's dying, and then she's perfect opportunity, stab right through the stomach.
I think it was happening at the same time.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, this is a who shot first, Han or Greedo situation. They have to change this in the special edition. If Kat's got a patch, if Kat's got an update, I'm really thinking, Star Wars has in the past, those first 6 movies, or the first 3 especially, have been changed. I wouldn't be surprised if there is, later on, a special edition, The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. And
even change the title, because it's basically the names are what bother me about this movie, because, again, at the end, big spoilers, this woman in the desert on Tatooine asks Rey, who are you? And she's like, Rey. No, I need a last name here. Hello.
Ray who?
Ray who. She looks
What's your
off.
family name?
She looks off to the side for about an hour and then sees some Force ghosts who are like, it's okay. You can do it. So she turns back. She's like, Ray Skywalker. I'm Ray Skywalker. Certainly not Ray Palpatine. That's my middle name now. And that just... I'm not a fan. I don't think... There's got to be people out there who are like, this was a good idea, but I don't know if I've met them.
Yeah. Well, you don't think that it's okay for her to hyphenate Palpatine Skywalker?
I would have thought, like, if she's going to take any of the names, Solo makes the most sense. Like, she looked up to Han Solo. She was going to get married to Ben Solo. I mean, they got very close until he just died and turned into a Force ghost.
Well, he gave her his life force.
Oh, yeah, because that's a new Force power that everyone's got. Healing big worms and then healing other humans with Force healing.
Now, you're also confusing the two, the Mandalorian and the...
Oh no! Earlier in Part 9 in that movie, like they're in the cave where they find like the map knife, and there's a worm that is damaged, so she heals it, and that's like the foreshadowing that she will have that power.
I thought you were talking about
on.
when Baby Yoda.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he does it there. So again, you see, it's all connected.
Yeah.
That's in terms of 2019, I would say Baby Yoda is the runaway breakout star of Star Wars. That's what everyone's a fan of Baby Yoda or Baby Yeet or Baby Yeety, whatever you want to call him. Mm-hmm. Everyone's on board for that, but everything else is like a toss-up in terms of appeal at best. Although I will say what I did like about Episode 9, without hesitation, I like the new droid, D-O, which I guess is D-O or D-10, like the little cone-shaped droid. Who's just like, no, thank you. He just backs away from things. He's like, no, thank you.
He looks like a hairdryer. I'm not that interested in that one.
Yeah, I take it back. It's still, the fan base is split. Right down the middle here. I like Dio. She's like, looks too much like a hairdryer.
Yeah, I don't like Dio.
How about C-3PO's comedic role in this movie? Pretty entertaining?
Yeah. I think, poor C-3PO is picked on and not really treated as good as he should be, because he gives up so much for the Empire, for the Resistance. So yeah, I think that finally he got a little bit recognition for what he's done.
He got his hero moment too. He got to help out with the crew. But a lot of the time they also, as they've been doing for 9 movies now, he is the butt of everyone's jokes. Like, they make fun of C-3PO so hard.
I know. And he was willing to give up his entire life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cut him a break.
But it's like, sometimes that's personalities, right? Like, some droids have, like, that type of personality. It's just like, you can't help but make fun of them literally all the time. Because you wouldn't do that to, like, say, R2-D2, because he'd send out, like, a little arm and shock you if you tried to make fun of him that much. But everyone does it to C-3PO.
Yeah.
So it's not even just like a droid thing, it's personality. It just depends on the person or the droid.
Well, quite frankly, they are very lucky that he puts up with that.
Yeah. I agree. So on the whole, I hated it. And
I liked it.
I didn't see Cats, but, 2019, actually, it looks like I saw a lot less movies just looking at the list than I did in 2018. Mm-hmm. But what I really did like, just very briefly, let's just mention what we loved about movies this year. I really liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We did a video review on that earlier after we saw it, and that was by far my favorite. Everything else disappointed me at least a little bit, but that one went above even my sky-high expectations.
Me too.
That was it for our sort of capsule review of 2019. Honey, thanks for joining me for this.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, and if people enjoyed the video, despite how negative we were this time, what can they do?
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button.
Subscribe. And hit that bell for notifications so that you can find out when we got more videos.
Right, and if you're doing any art yourself, I'm curious to see it. Like, if you got a channel or a DeviantArt page or something, share it in the comments below. You probably noticed I've been drawing something here. Not a great picture, I think, of Taylor Swift as Bombalurina on the right, but on the left I've been working on, you know who this is?
Is it... No, I can't tell.
That's right, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay.
So I am looking forward to Ewan McGregor coming back as Obi-Wan Kenobi in a Disney Plus series.
That would be great.
I think this year. We'll see how that goes. So hopefully that one is awesome. Looking forward to it. And until next time, everyone, keep drawing.